TRS-80 Model 1 emulated, simulated retro computer fiasco. um, and that Tandy purists will not like this computer. They will despise it. And they will be even more annoyed to know that, no, that's not the right board. That's a different Model 1. They will be even more annoyed to know that, oh, it's booted up finally, that in order to make this fake Model 1 computer, I removed the tape connector and the power switch. And I'll show you why here in just a second. So this is the keyboard I converted to USB using a fake Arduino. It's not a true Arduino. It's the Pro Micro or something. It's not the legitimate Arduino. So there are differences. And I finally got the shift key and stuff in the programming. So let's type in some stuff. So the keyboard works fine. And I mean, it looks like a real TRS-80 Model 1, right? However, if you look at the back, instead of an expansion port, you got USB ports. Now, I printed this stuff in white filament because that's what I had loaded on my 3D printer, but I do not have screws in the case, so the case is coming apart a little bit. And this is still prototyping. This will remain the same. I'm going to make a revision or two to this side. As you can see, I've got power switch, 5 volts, the barrel connector. I've got, even though I'm using the cassette DIN connector from the Model 1, it's the same thing as the monitor port. So I've got 5 volts ground video running from the Raspberry Pi. I'll show that here in a minute, to this port, which goes to a real Model 1 video display. So right now that's the only way you can connect it to a monitor is to a real Model 1 video display. And right there is the SD card slot for the Raspberry Pi, so I don't have to open up the computer every time I want to make a change to the operating system. Carefully lifting up the top of the case. Right here, down in there is the Arduino wannabe. And what I mean, let me explain that why. The reason I say that is because a true Arduino will, well, from my experience, it's a true USB device, whereas the fake Arduinos, if you connect it up to like a Raspberry Pi Zero running BMC64 emulator, it will not recognize the keyboard. And that's, you connect it before you turn on the Raspberry Pi, of course, but because BMC64 only checks for USB devices, on boot up. But that's not the problem with this fake Arduino. It's just not a true, or it can't be a true HID device or something like that. So I mean, it's got to keep getting looped around. The first pass don't get it. Okay, it doesn't hook into it. It would need the USB setup thing in the operating system would have to run constantly, and BMC64 only checks up on boot up, or something like that. Anyways, off the subject. There's the Raspberry Pi Zero. and I've got an extension for the SD card right there. But there's a port cover I made in Animator. It's free for download, written by Steven somebody, I don't remember his last name. It's the 3D modeling program I use to create everything, but even though it's not designed for 3D printing, that's what I use it for, because it's easy for me. There is a pre-version, so you can kind of get a 3D view of that. That's basically that connector. But I still need to make a couple of revisions to that. And when I do, I will reprint both those in black filament, so I don't have to paint them. And that's it basically. So that's the Model 1 deconstructed. A lot of purists will, go, you shouldn't have done that. Well, look at it this way, okay? I preserved the Model 1. Now, assuming that a Raspberry Pi Zero will last as long as, one of these boards made in the late 70s, presuming that the Pi Zero technology will last longer than that, then I've actually, preserved this computer because, what's the experience? It looks just like a Model 1 software-wise. And, I mean, it is a Model 1, it's just a Model 1 with new guts, You don't need a disk drive or a tape recorder. You've got USB ports and an SD card, It's better. It's better than original Model 1. But it keeps the, the look and feel of the original, without having to deal with a bunch of crap, Like, I mean, this stuff, something goes bad on the board. This is a donor board that I got, and I've already removed this, where is it? This chip right here to fix another Model 1 back like a year or so ago. And so this, I've been taking things off this board anyway, so it's no big deal. And actually, I need to fix that other Model 1 board that I showed earlier, with something like this, hopefully, because they seem to have the same problem. They have a garbage screen. So I don't know. I gotta look into that. But okay, there's TRS-80 Model 1. I still don't have no audio, but that's okay. Works good with joystick too. It's fantastic. Okay, there it is. Frogger. Okay, well, that's basically all for this video.